Hello everyone, I'm Naswa and welcome to part 2 of the Pokemon Perfect Crystal Roy G Biv playthrough. Why are we starting at part 2? Because I lost the footage for part 1. Not that the footage is corrupted, I literally just cannot find the folder we put it in. And your follow-up questions. What is Pokemon Perfect Crystal? Pokemon Perfect Crystal is a mod for Pokemon Crystal that lets the game exist on its own. You no longer need to trade for evolutions, and all of the Pokemon from the first 2 generations appear somewhere in the game. Follow-up question 2. What's a Roy G Biv Run? A Roy G Biv Run is a run-through of any Pokemon game using Pokemon whose primary body color is featured somewhere in the visible spectrum of light, either red, orange, yellow, green, blue, or indigo/violet. We had to combine indigo and violet for 2 reasons. 1, I think indigo is a stupid color, and 2, there are only 6 Pokemon party slots. There is one exception to this rule. Any shinies you encounter count as wildcards. They can replace any color on your team, regardless of what color the shiny actually is. And now for a quick update on what you missed in part 1. Our starter is Totodile because the only Pokemon of the right color was Totodile. We're using the color palettes from the in-game sprites, not their current sprites, and Chikorita is this weird beige color, and Cyndaquil is kind of an off bluish black. Either way, not part of the visible spectrum. Our Totodile is now a Croconox, it leveled up. We also caught a Vulpix, an Ekans, and a Bellsprout, which rounds out our team with orange, purple, and yellow. We beat Faulkner, we've beat Bugsy, and now we're on our way to Windy. And that's where we pick up on the playthrough. Just a quick heads up for you. As I was editing the video, I decided to time-lapse through anything that wasn't particularly entertaining, and as a result, some of these menus flash on screen. So, if you have epilepsy, just a heads up, there will be flashing images. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, so we start off and I forget that I am at the border house at the edge of Helix Forest. So the first thing I do is backtrack entirely because I forgot where I was. And in the meantime, we catch a couple other Pokemon to keep in reserve. We'll catch a Venonat, I believe, and a Magikarp. Now, the Venonat, I very quickly realized probably won't get used because if I can get hold of a Gengar, that'll take care of my purple slot. Magikarp is going to evolve into a Gyarados, which I already have blue taken care of with my Croconaw, hopefully into a Feraligatr later. Although, we will quickly see that I give up on the Feraligatr plan when I start catching more Pokemon to supplement my team. But first things first, before I can go face Whitney, I know I need at least 1 more member on the team. So I head up to the bug catching area, knowing that Spinarak spawned there. So the first thing I want to do is go find a Spinarak to catch. And here is the encounter with said Spinarak. Now, catching Spinarak is going to do 2 things for me. It's going to give me another slot on the team, and it's going to hold its position. Some Pokemon, when they evolve, are going to change their colors. Case in point, Vulpix will not be on my team for long, because when it evolves into Ninetales is primarily white, so we're not going to be able to use Ninetales on the team. Spinarak, on the other hand, evolves into Ariados, and Ariados' primary color in Gen 2 is red, so we're able to get a second stage evolution without sacrificing a slot on the team. So that's going to be incredibly useful moving forward. The typing's not great. I'm not a huge fan of bug types just in general, but in this run, I really can't afford to be all that picky. So we have Jill take care of the catching, and there's our Spinarak. So at this point, I just want to hit all the trainers, grind a little bit, level up, because I know Whitney is coming. And the problem with Whitney is that she has that Miltank. And Miltank really does get, like, the bulk of the hate, but her Clefairy is just as bad. Clefairy has access to Metronome, and that's a chance to use things like Fissure, that's a chance to use things like Horn Drill. So I'm out here trying to grind a little bit just to withstand that battle a little bit better. Now, it's been years since I've played this, so I completely forgot what spawns up here in the national park. And lo and behold, what I find is a Psyduck. Now, I wasn't prepared to find a Psyduck, but what this means is that I can race this Psyduck into a Golduck. Now, Golduck is blue, contrary to what the name says, so it would take the place of a Feraligatr, but what that does do is gives me access to psychic attacks. And honestly, I think the trade-off between swapping Feraligatr for Golduck is going to be worth it in the long run. Gen 2 balanced Psychic a little bit with Dark types, but Psychic is still an incredibly powerful thing. Now, unfortunately, I knock out that first Psyduck, but we find a second one. So I'm going to make extra careful choices on this one. Play super carefully. What knocked out the first one was a crit, which is beyond my control, but you can't help but feel like you did something wrong. So we're playing super close to the chest on this one, and that disable was just a little red flag, says, yeah, now it's probably time to throw the Pokeball. So we're gonna hop over there, chuck the Pokeball at it. This will also replace the Bellsprout on my team, which kind of sucks. Bellsprout was really growing on me, and I was kind of looking forward to having a Victory Bell. But if I really want one later, once Psyduck evolves into Golduck, that will open up the yellow slot again for me to go get that Victory Bell. And honestly, I can't think of many more Pokemon that are yellow that I'm going to be able to get to relatively easily. Because the other one I was thinking of was the Ampharos line, but I'm pretty sure the middle evolution on that one is pink, so I wouldn't be able to train it anyway. But anyway, we have a Psyduck now, and I'm starting to think we're getting close to going to fight Whitney. But before I do that, I want to go through town and just check for any miscellaneous items, get any Pokeballs or potions lying around that might be able to help me. I cut through this little grassy area, and I realize that Abra's a Psychic type that evolves up into a Alakazam, which is a fairly powerful Psychic type. Unfortunately, their sprites in the second gen aren't really yellow, and they're not really orange, so not altogether useful. We pick up the bike, we hit the underground, where I find the coin case. Little fact about me, slightly addictive personality. If I can gamble in a game, I'm going to. So in just a minute, you're going to see me go waste a little time in the game corner. Spoiler, I buy 250 coins, I walk out with 248, so a net loss of 2 coins. Sad day. But this is how I waste my time preparing to go fight Whitney. I also go shopping in the department store and notice that they're selling TMs. Now, the mod we're playing with Perfect Crystal, it implements something that the later games did. If you use a TM, it's not gone. They're all completely reusable. And I noticed that the TMs that they were selling were for the punches, the elemental punches. Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. And there's one at the bottom that mentions it induces flinch. So I was like, okay, well, we'll take a chance on that. I like flinching. Problem being, I owned the TM already. And since they don't get removed from your inventory, it was a $2,000 waste of time. So here we have the start of my fights with Whitney, and almost every fight I had followed the same approach. I would send out the Psyduck first, because Psyduck knew Mudslap. I would nerf the Clefairy's accuracy. That way things like Metronome wouldn't hit. And later on in this match, it actually does attempt to use Fissure. Now, Fissure's accuracy is already horrible, but that plus the accuracy drops from the Mud Slap made sure it didn't hit. But a one-hit KO move coming out of nowhere is never what you want to see. And this strategy worked great on the Clefairy. Trying this strategy on the Miltank was vastly different. I was hoping that since this was a mod, that the gym leaders would follow normal trainer rules. No, the AI still cheats in this horribly. I got stomped through 4 accuracy drops way more times than I would have been comfortable seeing. If this was a competitive environment, I would have been that guy. I would have called hacks at some point. So we just keep rehashing this system. We're letting my Psyduck gain levels, which ultimately is the point. After a while, you stop losing money, only because you have no money left to lose, so it never hurts to just run in here and try and power level your Pokemon. So here we are in my last Whitney battle. And at this point, Clefairy is old hat. We don't worry about Clefairy. We can just use Headbutt to drop it. Here's the Miltank. Now, Miltank is using that rollout. The thing about rollout is if rollout misses, it actually resets the damage counter on it. Because once Miltank hits 5 rollouts in a row, you're done for. There's really nothing at this point in the game that's going to survive that. So, we're hoping to run Miltank out of stomps and out of rollouts with accuracy drops. The Vulpix used Confuse right there because it's also holding a berry that alleviates status ailments. I was originally hoping to hit the Confusion and then burn it with an Ember. Now, you just saw right there was the attraction, and that's what set us back so far in this game. Attraction is just one of those moves that, if it connects, if you're an opposite gender Pokemon to the Pokemon using it, it's kind of like running another Paralysis. Like, if you could run Attract and Paralysis and something like Headbutt together consistently, the other Pokemon would move maybe 10% of the time. Now, I'm not a mathematician, I don't know the numbers, I'm guessing. It will feel like 0. You just won't ever do anything. So we keep using the Mud Slaps to drop accuracy, because all we want is Miltank to not hit anything. If we just get Miltank struggling, we'd be set. So I've worked through almost all my healing items through the course of this. And at this point, I don't know if their PP was just gone for these moves. I don't remember what the PP is off the top of my head. But it's starting to use Milk Drink after it takes any damage. Which was a great sign for me, because once Pokemon start behaving weird, that's a clue that you got them on the ropes. The trainers in this game follow a set pattern, to where the only reason they'll use stuff at weird times, like ineffective moves or things like Milk Drink, are if they're out of PP with their other moves. Now, once again, I'm playing a mod. I don't know what the modder has changed. There might be different logic going into this, but what it seemed like was, thanks to misses and whatnot, that the PP for the other damaging moves was just gone. Because Attraction's pointless to use again, the game knows it, so it's not even going to try. Milk Drink would be the most logical, because it's taking damage, and there you go. So, all it took was me missing due to Attraction, Miltank missing due to accuracy drops, and then just slogging out back and forth. You know, we condensed it there, but it was legitimately 10 minutes of Miltank missing and me being too infatuated. Miltank missing, me being too infatuated. But, in the end, through sheer stupid persistence, we prevailed. Whitney's taken care of, and we can move on in our journey. Guys, thank you for checking it out. It was exciting to get part 2 for you, the first thing you're seeing, so kind of a part 1 up here for you all. I stream this every Monday on my Twitch. I'll put the link down in the description. Feel free to check that out. Stop by, say hi, tell me all the things I'm doing wrong, because I need it. It's been literal years since I played Crystal. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. You look great. Did you get a haircut? It works for you. Thanks.